basketball is bringing in some dynamic young freshmen, and Zepp and I are going to talk about it. All right, we got to trim it up a little bit, but we're back. It's another episode of the Barn Hoops Pod. We got a new intro video. We got a little kinks to work out on it, but hey, it's Kyle and Zepp back to talk about these dynamic young freshmen and talk basketball, talk Auburn basketball like we're always going to do, and have some fun doing it. But before we get started, before we talk about these freshmen, we got to give a shout out to mybookie.ag. Use coupon code NEXTROUND for a double up bonus. Give them $100. They're going to give you another $100 back on top of it to play with. I think you can go all the way up to 1,000. Get your account set up for NFL, the rest of the college football season, and then hey, be ready for hoop season when it comes around as well. So that's mybookie.ag. Use coupon code NEXTROUND for the double up bonus. Zepp, how you doing, man? Good. How'd you have a good weekend?
Oh yeah, I had a great weekend. I'm sorry we lost the football game, but other than that, my weekend was pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So our last episode, we talked about some of the portal additions that we added, and tonight we're going to talk about these freshmen that we've added that are already here. They reported in the summer, and from all accounts, they're doing really really well. And I want you guys to get to know them a little bit more. The first guy we're going to talk about, I'm very very excited about. I'm going to kind of tell you the description I was given of him, Zepp, and I want to hear what you think about it. So you got Tahaad Pettiford, who was a very, very highly rated kid. I think he played a little bit of point guard, a little bit of two guard, super explosive. Basically, what I've heard about this guy is he's going to be a KD Johnson type player, but maybe be a little bit more dynamic scoring the basketball, can play it on both ends, defense. He can bring the ball up the court. He can shoot. He can score even at that smaller size. I think Auburn, from everything I hear, has hit Bruce has hit a huge home run with this kid.
Well, I think he's a McDonald's All American. He's a guy that's gonna come in with instant impact. He's a guy can score from all type of levels on the floor, right, left hand, shooting, driving, dictating. He's just one of those guys. He's gonna be one of the guys that he's gonna wake everybody up. I think he's gonna be one of those guys that come off the bench and just go crazy. One game he might have 15. One game he might have 20. He's just gonna give the team a different type of spark. He's not the type of guy like KD Johnson to go crazy, go wild on the court, get the crowd
Yeah,
hype. But he's gonna give you buckets. He's gonna give you something
buckets.
different than KD Johnson. He's a guy who go gets it, go make it happen, go do it. And Bruce loved that from guys. And I feel like he's gonna be like a Bryce Brown type of guy, can shoot it real well, can do everything that a player that you need in a player. So I think he will be great in this system. I think he's gonna have a great year. He's gonna be one of those guys that be in the freshman class that's gonna be like maybe freshman of the year, preseason. So it'll just be one of those things that you can't wait to see him score the ball in so many different ways.
So you talked about him coming off the bench, and that's kind of where I see him too as well. Coming off the bench at that two guard, he is a smaller guy. Okay, he is
Mm-hmm.
I think 6'1", maybe 6'1", 6'2". Uh,
Mm-hmm.
at that position, there's a lot of freaky guys out there. You got a lot of freaky two guards out there. How do you see? He's playing high school, playing. I know he plays very very high level AAU stuff like that. Do you see his size being an issue at all at that two guard where you can have some 6'6" dudes that can run and shoot? What do you think about their defense as well?
Well, I look at it as with Auburn, we always recruited small guards. We always won like that.
It's a good point.
When they went to the Final Four, Bryce Brown he's not pretty tall. Jerry Harper is not tall. I'm not tall. Wendell Green is not tall. So, you can make things work. The smaller you are, the faster the guards are.
That's
So,
a good point.
sometimes things work out in the best way with small guards, and I feel like he's one of those guys that he has something to prove. He
Yeah.
got a lot on his plate.
For sure. Would you say he's a finisher? Like is he a get to the rim type two guard, even at that size, get to the rim, get to the line, or is he more of a finesse type player? How would you describe him there?
Um, he's kind of both
Yeah.
because You never know what you can get out of him. He can lay the ball up the right, the left. It's good. He's left-handed, but he lay the ball up with his right hand, but also can lay it
Yeah.
up with his left. So you just never know. And then working out with Coach D this summer, he didn't put the strength on him, so it's gonna be electric to see guys like him play because he got so much in his irrational. Like he can do so much. He can kill you from the outside, the inside, mid range. He just can do so much, and I'm ready to see what he's gonna do in the SEC. Even though he's a freshman, he can be one of those guys that make the leap and leave after 1 year, like Rob
No.
Dillingham, that from Kentucky.
Wow, wow, that's exciting to hear. And again, that's all I've heard. I've heard when they break up and play their their squad games where it's
Mhm.
orange on blue or however y'all do it. That it's very rare that his team loses when they have to get a bucket. That's what they call him. That's what they say. He's just a walking bucket. He's got that dog in him that can get to the hoop. And make it happen. I'm very, very excited to know that this is a kid that's going to be coming off the bench. Like you got Denver or JP, whoever's going to be running one. You got Miles
Mhm.
Kelly at two, and then when you go and you start doing your rotation, you get to pull this kid off. That's a complete changeup, completely different from those other guys. I'm very, very excited to see Tahaad and see what he can do at the SEC level. The second guy, I'm very, very excited about this guy. This was a dude you added late in the class, and I think at the time you probably looked at him as somewhat of a project. I think he was a guy that has some very, very freaky athletic ability. Jahki Howard is just a highlight reel. Uh,
Mhm.
the vertical's insane. Did you see the Auburn basketball video that they put out on Twitter when he's I don't even know hitting the very top of the high jump, the whatever that is where y'all test jumps and stuff like that. He got all
Mhm.
the way up to the top. Like he is a human highlight reel. I thought he was going to be just like a project type player, but it seems like this dude's going to be hard to keep off the court.
Mhm. Without a doubt. He reminds me of Devin Cambridge. I
Yes,
feel like he can be one of those guys that catch lobs, play defense, shoot threes, and just play his role. But he is a project guy. I feel like he can add a lot to his game as long as he listens to the coaches, work hard, do everything he need. He's a sleeper guy also because you just never know how a guy can turn out like that. Especially coming in as a freshman. If you really learn the game, you really can be one of the best players. He really can be one of those guys, but he have to stay on it. But I feel like he's gonna be a super guy, catch live. BP put people in position like that to do their strengths. So I feel like he'll be also great in the system. Just learning and just learn from old guys and things like that.
where exactly would you see him in this lineup? Like exactly, like what kind is he going to be? More of a three, more of a wing guy, or is he going to be more of a smaller forward that's a little bit more athletic and bouncy? Like where do you kind of see him playing? I guess at this level to start off with, anyways.
I see him playing the three, for sure. I see him playing nothing else. Because basically, this is SEC. He's a freshman. He got to show other things than dunking. Because now you're playing with the big
That's a good
boys.
point. Yeah,
So I
everybody can
feel
dunk.
like everybody can dunk. Everybody can
Yeah,
jump. When you run up and down the court, the jumping goes away. You get tired when guys are stronger, bigger, they're smarter, they outsmart you. Jumping won't always get you where it's at. So I feel like he's learning right now. He's learning from practice, learning how can he do, what can he do, what's his role. I think he'd be okay, but I see him being a three and D type of guy, like Devin
three and
Cambridge.
like we know he can jump, we know he can
Mhm.
dunk. What about the shooting, the range? Like, is he going to be a legitimate? Devin could get hot. That Devin could heat up sometimes from three. I think there's one game in his
Mhm.
career he hit 7 threes.
Mhm.
Is Jakai going to have that potential to be able to stretch defenses so that you can
Mhm.
create some space inside? Where do you see him from a shooting standpoint?
I feel like he didn't learn so much in shooting on the past year, working with overtime. He didn't work on his shot because he realized a lot of people would talk about you can't just jump. So I think he'd fit right in. He been in the gym every morning working on his jump shot. So I feel like he'd be a, 35%, 33, 35% 3-point shooter. because he's a freshman. I feel like he's gonna get the shots he need when guys drive and kick. Be ready for the shot. I feel like he's gonna get those opportunities. As long as he make those shots, I feel like he'd be good, and I feel like he'll be able to play the minutes he deserves.
Love it. Love it. All right. So you got these two freshmen in. They were both sort of they're both at different levels of as far as rankings go and how much people were after them and things like that. Obviously, everybody wanted Tahaad Pettiford. Jahki Howard kind of came on late. Where do we see them as far as minutes go and things like that for each one in the SEC? Does one need more time than the other? Do you think does Tahaad have a better chance of getting more minutes? Is there a niche Jahki can create to get more minutes? How do you see that whole thing kind of playing out?
Well, it's two different games. Both of them got, I feel like Tahad's, like I said, he's a Matt Nunnals All American. You haven't heard any Matt Nunnals All American not playing a lot of minutes. He's
True.
going to play minutes. He have something to prove. The people wants to see him, no matter what anybody says, no matter how many minutes. Aiden Holloway, he didn't play as good as he did last year, but at the end of the day, he still was an All American. He still
Yep.
was one of the highest paid NIL athletes on Auburn campus. And I feel like Todd Pettiford, he's gonna play between 20 to 22 minutes this year. And I also feel like Jahki, he might get lower minutes because it's kind of harder in his position because you got guys like Chad Baker Mazzara, Miles Kelly, Chris Moore. Those guys are
That's
three
true.
three two man. So it's gonna be kind of tougher with Tahaad Pettiford. He's gonna play point guard. He's gonna play two guard. I feel like it's gonna be easier for him because I feel like his role is gonna come natural. Whether Jakai is gonna have to come, like you really gonna have to work. You really gonna have to prove to us that you're gonna be able to get on the court with these SEC guys. But I think he's gonna play. I know he's gonna play because he's fiending. He wants to play. He wants to learn the game. So I can't tell you how many minutes, but I know he will play.
Yeah, I've heard that Auburn is incredibly pleased when you're talking about Jahki Howard and his role, like him accepting sort of what his role is early on, but also how far along he is. Again, I understand he's a project, but I think he may be even further along than was expected. So you got your transfer portal guys in, you've got
Mhm.
your new freshmen in to add to some of the guys you've already had. How do you feel about the overall makeup of this team now with your returning guys? Uh, where do you see a weakness? Where do you see the biggest strength? Like, tell me how you feel about the whole makeup of this team now that we've kind of addressed all the new additions.
I feel super great. Our strength, I feel, with Janai Broom coming back, that was the main piece. With this team, no matter who we went and got, Janai Broom was the main piece. Because without Janai Broom, a lot of people will question us because he's that guy. He's one of the best
Yeah,
bigs in the country, one of the best players in the country. I seen a thing came out the other day. He's like number three big man. But what else do he have to prove? He's
yeah,
he's he's the All American. So I feel like where we standing at is perfect. You know, with the transfers coming in, they still have to learn the SEC a little bit, but with that schedule, it's not gonna take nothing to see where we at. The first couple of games to play those tough teams. So, but our weakness, we really don't have a backup point guard. If you really look at our team, we don't. We have one point guard, and the rest is really just combo guards trying to
yeah,
figure it out. Trying to do something they never really done before. So it's gonna be pretty interesting when guys like Denver Jones go to point guard, Tahaad Pettiford go to point guard, because we never really seen those guys play point guard. We had two point guards last year, with Trey
yeah.
Donaldson and Aiden Holloway. Those guys are natural point guards. It come natural to them, no matter how good they play or how bad they play. We really have to see how are we going to be in the point guard position this year.
I dig it. So I got a question for you, talking about kind of on the lines of weaknesses and things like that. I think the common thought is it's going to be really hard to replace Jalen Williams's production at the four. You return Chaney, who got better as the year went on, and then you have
Mhm.
Jaheim Hudson, who we talked about last show. You may not have the firepower that you could get out of Jalen, but with the additions of Miles Kelly, and then Chad Baker Mazar, obviously his second year, Denver Holloway, Denver, and then not Denver Holloway, Denver Jones, and then you have Tahaad Pettiford. Can you disguise that? I guess, can you hide that deficiency if there is some with the explosion that you have from your guards? Is that something that you can kind of mask? I guess.
With Jalen Williams leaving, that's a big task with him leaving. But I feel like Shaney Johnson, I feel like he'll be ready for this
Yeah.
year. I feel like last year it took him a little time to get used of the conference.
Yeah.
It's not easy coming to the SEC and playing and just coming in and taking in a role. But I feel like now he have the confidence. With Auburn, it's all about confidence on how can you get better, how can you work. This summer he worked super hard. He's one of those guys, he's natural staying in the gym. So I feel like he'll be ready for his role this year. I feel like he's gonna show people what he can really do. No matter what level he came from, I feel like he's gonna step it up. I seen the thing maybe last week, a couple days ago, breakout players on each team, and it had Shaney Johnson. I also felt the same way because I feel like I got a lot of confidence in him because I
Yeah.
feel like he's gonna do great this year, and I feel like he's not gonna be a Jalen Williams, but he's gonna be good enough for us. So and he's gonna be good enough for us to beat the top teams in the country.
There you go. What we may not have, you don't take any step back, you feel like, on the defensive side, and what little, if there's any drop off on offense at that position, you feel like you're surrounded by guys that can just score, they can get buckets from anywhere.
Hmm.
So I'm with you. I like the makeup of this team. I love the backcourt. I love and obviously you got to love the front court with Janai Broom, and then you can bring in Dylan Cardwell as well to kind of be the change up guy and give Janai a blow. That's going to be it for tonight. We're going to be back on Thursday obviously talking about hoops, and we'll find something. There'll be a storyline or something like that we can talk about, and break this team down a little bit more and keep showing them the love that they deserve. Zep, how can people find you, love on you, just tell you how much they appreciate you?
You can find me on my Twitter at RIP_QUAN5.
Yeah,
Instagram RIP_QUAN12. And I would love the feedback. What else we can talk about on the show? We're willing to
yeah.
talk about anything in a basketball standpoint. So show us some love.
Hit us in the comments. Let us know some topics you want us to discuss. We're still kind of working this thing out and getting better as we go, and we'll continue to get after it. So it's another episode of the Barn Hoops Pod. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.